Welcome to Unsexy Businessmen, where we talk about all things unsexy business. Today, we're going to be going over the upsides of entrepreneurship and why people take the leap and why it is worth it. As always, I am joined by, on the second episode, as always, joined by my brother, Aaron, to chat a little bit about this today. So I'll just kick it over to you really fast because obviously you've been doing this way longer than I have. What's like the first thing that comes to mind upside entrepreneurship?
It's something that I think I talk to almost everyone about with owning your own business is when you're working for another company, the amount of effort that you put into that company isn't necessarily what you get out of it. I would say almost never. I'm sure there's some exceptions to that, but for the most part, you can work as hard as you want and then not see that really pay off in that company. But if you own your own business, as hard as you work on something, you get all of those benefits. So it's really just about how hard you want to work. And then you get to see the rewards from that, as opposed to hoping that others notice that you're doing a really good job in your current employment when you're working for somebody else and hoping that that pays off. It is, and if not immediate, a very, you can see the payoff as much as you work into it, if that makes sense. And so that's what probably motivated me the most. Was I was burnt out on putting a ton of time into somebody else's company only to get a $20 gift card to Texas Roadhouse or whatever it is, as opposed to if I worked that hard on my business, I could get a $20,000 gift card to Texas Roadhouse. So yeah, I think that's
Texas Roadhouse very happy.
Yeah.
Or go get that $20,000 gift card to Texas Roadhouse.
I want to stick it to my former employer by screwing myself over. No, that's probably one of the main things that I really like about entrepreneurship.
But never having to be dependent on somebody else, because at every stage of the game you are like, if you have a boss, like what if your boss sucks and like your boss's boss is, or that too, and your boss's boss doesn't like that person, and then you're just 100% dependent on this guy who's like, how am I going to? I saw it all the time, like in agency life, where it's like, oh, you're on a crappy team, so until you get onto a good team, you probably aren't going to have the opportunity to grow into new positions because they don't trust your boss.
And it might not even be the good team. It might be the cool team, or the one who, goes out with everyone, who has good relationships and stuff like that. And yes, it's important to build relationships, but yeah, same thing. I saw it all the time. It was really just about who you knew, whose ass you kissed. And like, it's just the office politics. And I hated the office politics. I hated playing that game, and I couldn't stand it. So yes, and then
you get to be the person who regulates it, like later on. Like,
exactly.
Granted, whenever you're dealing with people, there's always going to be some level of things that you like and things that you don't like, but at least you're the person who's in control of it when you own the company.
Right.
It's always weird, like talking about this too, because we also like have employees. So I think that's part of the thing I like about entrepreneurship too, is like you get to control that. You get to control what their experience is going to be. You get to learn from all of the things that you hated. Like you using that $20 gift card thing, that reminds me of a story. So we had a like referral partner program where essentially if a referral partner referred someone, they would get 10% of the first contract. So let's say the first contract's $10,000. You would get $1,000 of that. Mm-hmm. For employees, it was not that 10% number, and it was only for the first and last month. So if it's a $10,000 over 10 months, you're getting 5% of 2,000 instead of like the other number. And I always just like, I don't understand. No one is you're disincentivizing people. Yes. They know what the partner program is. Why are you doing it this way? So now we don't do that. Where we're at, like if one of my employees brings someone on, I'm not just gonna be like, you know what's great about this? You get to work on this client. That's why it's awesome that you brought him on. It's like, no, here's the financial incentive for you. Here's that 10%. And also that's another thing too, in perpetuity for as long as this client's here, because why wouldn't you do that? I know why, because as a business owner, most people want to get as much of all the money as possible. So you screw your employees, generally speaking, in that. So I like being able to have that control in
Yes.
the office politics sense of things.
Yes. I agree. I totally agree.
Man, I have just so many stories. Like another one. So I think with that too, since you are controlling office politics, you're also like in control of everything. Like the
Mhm.
final say comes to you. And like if you have business partners, like to you 2 people, or if there's 3 business partners, to you 4 people, like whatever that number is. But it all comes down to you, because that was something just incredibly frustrating at one of my jobs. It's just like, do you know how math works? Was like this story of, all right, so we have this goal. I'm going to, I don't know if I should give like the exact numbers. Who cares? So I'm going to give you the exact numbers. I have no problem with this. So we need to get to $20 million in yearly recurring revenue by X date.
Mhm.
And so I start reverse engineering. What are we going to have to do to be able to do that? So our churn rate was about 10%. We'd lose 10% of our revenue every single month. So I knew that we needed $1.66 million in monthly recurring revenue. If our churn rate is 10%, that means we lose on average $166,000 of revenue per month once we get to that goal number. And
Mhm.
so my thing was like, how are we replacing $166,000 in monthly recurring revenue? And I asked my leader this question, and he went, the account managers just need to start getting more upsells. Just like, there has never been my retort was, there has never been a time in our company's history that I'm aware of where the account managers have ever gotten anywhere close to that number,
Right.
nor has our sales team ever got close to that number. So we have to find other ways of bringing in revenue that isn't just dependent on people, whether that be we create a subscription service, or maybe what it is we jack up our prices for certain clients to astronomical things where they don't even know the difference, because, hey, we're a huge company. That number is so small to us. Like, are we going to start doing stuff like that? And I never got an answer on that. I was just like, okay, like that was, I knew, the beginning of the end for me at that
Mhm.
company. So just like,
Right.
he didn't have an answer, and I knew it made him, like, I remember having a conversation with him one time where he's like, you just think I'm stupid. Just like, I don't think you're stupid, man. Like, that's not it at all. I just need some answers so I can feel a little bit more secure. And because I was like, we're not going to hit that goal with how
Do you
things are
think
currently set up. We're not going to hit that goal.
do you think they set that goal as an unattainable goal just to keep you motivated, but knowing on the back end they weren't going to have to give you that bonus because it was impossible to get to that goal?
Right. Well, the goal, like, there was no bonuses tied to this. Like, this was like
Oh,
literally, there was like nothing tied to
just
it.
the goal. Oh,
It was
gotcha.
just a goal that we're supposed to hit. And so I'm just, as someone who wants us to hit goals, I mean, this is a good reminder too in entrepreneurship. Like, you need to set SMART goals. Um, and when I say smart goals, I don't mean like intelligently smart. I mean
Like realistic.
SMART. Um, and I always forget what all of those different things stand for, but you need to use, what's that acronym?
The smart. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
They
Simple,
need to be
measured,
specific, measurable,
articulate.
achievable, relevant, and time bound. And so this one, I was just like, it's, there's no achievable. So it's a good reminder of like, anyone can do entrepreneurship. Just because you start a company doesn't mean you're smart. I don't consider myself to be incredibly intelligent. I know that I work hard and I work well with the clients that I work with.
Right.
But just maybe that's what I like about entrepreneurship. Anyone can do it, because the people who set that goal never logistically went over like how to actually go about hitting that number. So to anyone out there listening, if you're wondering, can you do it? Yes, you can, if you just try your hardest. So having that control and being the one who's setting the goals and going after specific metrics and benchmarks has been really nice for me.
Right. Well, like,
Um,
what is it for you then? What's like another thing besides, getting rid of office politics, and then also you're in control of, the effort you put in, you're actually getting the reward from it. Like, other than that,
I
what
would
what do
probably
you
follow up
like?
that specific thing. Like, you get more of the reward. I'm not making more money than I've ever made in my entire life at hitting my bank account level, but the amount of money in profit share that we have that we can then put towards other thing is incredibly valuable. Like the speed at which I was able to save $100,000 that I could then go and invest in other things was way faster than it ever was with anything else. Like most of the savings that you're doing as a W-2 is going to be stuff that you'll get in your 60s, essentially. Like, all right, here's
Right.
your IRA. Go get your
Right.
401k stuff, get heavily taxed on it, and realize that that definitely is not going to be a big enough number by the time that you actually retire.
Right.
So that has been really nice too. All of obviously unsexy businessmen, a lot of our keystone, a lot of our keystone money has gone towards
Yes.
that, and then other ventures that we try, test out, and try to do are also like a nice part of that. And like I essentially, I get it now. One of the places where I used to work, like he moved from CEO to just being like part of the board. Like he has like 8 to 10 different companies that he's a part of, whether he's an investment partner, whether he's actually like doing the work on it. And it all makes sense to me now. Where it's just like, yep, one of these things is going to do really well, guaranteed. And probably a few of them are going to do really well. So your money starts multiplying a lot faster when you're an entrepreneur, as you know.
Right. I mean, that's like to kind of piggyback off of that. Like that's just, and I think a lot of even, entrepreneurs that are doing well get so focused on just their business. They don't diversify into other things. Like when I had started Honestly Clean, I got to build this, got to build this. And I started building it. But at some point when I was making a lot of money off of that, I was like, I got to branch out into the different things besides just, oh, now I can pay myself more. If you got to start looking towards the future of what your real goals are. And so I started getting into real estate. Once I sold the business, I got even more heavily into real estate. I was able to invest into other businesses and things like that. And that's where I think real wealth comes from, is when you can start, like you were saying, like your former boss, like just start, you have this extra money. Why just put it all, well, I'm going to pay myself $1 million a year. Like that's all going to get taxed. It's not a smart way to do it. Instead, put that towards new ventures that pay for themselves. And like you said, not all of them work out, but if 2 or 3 hit and do well, you're just collecting checks and you're not having to do a ton of work in each one of those things. That's one of mine too, is just having that excess money, but then being smart with it. Like, I didn't go buy a boat. I didn't go buy a bunch of, crazy expensive things. I was more like, how can I make this money work for me in a more intelligent way? And so that's again, a great part of having your own business that becomes successful is being able to do that, as opposed to like, I can't wait till I'm 65 and I can retire. And now I can start enjoying life. Like, obviously I enjoyed life. I've been enjoying life along the way, but I still want to set myself up, like my kids set up, my grandkids set up, where not having to worry about money is awesome. Like, a lot of people, they live paycheck to paycheck. I can't remember what that statistic is, but it's something crazy. We're like less than, I'm just going to make this up and it's probably wrong and I'm sorry, but it's like 90% of people don't have $1,000 in their checking account, which is just like wild to me. But, yeah, just setting yourself up to be just completely financially free and not having to worry about when that next check's going to come or how you're going to pay for this or how to pay for that is awesome. Yeah.
And something that you mentioned there too is like, and you're still enjoying it. Well, it's kind of ironic, right? So many people are looking to that point where they can just stop working, when in reality, what they really want is just, and they don't realize this, like they want to live life now. So they want to live, this is how I should say this. They want to live all of the fun things that they want to be doing now when they're in their 60s, which is not going to be nearly as enjoyable as doing those things now. So the level of freedom that entrepreneurship has, and I'm fresh off of like no longer doing that other job that I had. So I'm pretty gung ho on, man, should I have quit this sooner? because the amount of networking opportunities that I was missing out by teaching essentially, like I've already seen 4 different people in the last, I guess it's been 2 weeks almost, in the last 2
Mhm.
weeks who normally I wouldn't be able to go see 'cause I'm like so tired from teaching, tired from doing like the entrepreneurial things. And now it's, oh, I can go do this whenever I want. I want to go meet up with someone. I just need to move that meeting around, or I find a spot in my calendar that isn't with a client. And I don't think people understand how awesome that is. And coming from my background of the place where I used to work had a very free um schedule where it's like you set your own schedule. It was a results only work environment. Like as long as you're getting results, don't ask what those results are because nobody knows. But as long as you're getting your results, like you can work however, wherever you want. But which is awesome. I think that's how we operate at Keystone. Like I think all companies should operate that way. But the catch with it is we're going to also pay you a lot less.
Mhm.
So you get a little bit of that freedom, but there's always going to be a give and take. Whereas with entrepreneurship, it has its gives and takes, right? But you are the one who is controlling that. Like if I want to work on a weekend, I do that. If I want to work like I did last night, checking some video edits at 10 p.m., I can do that after the kids go to sleep. Like you really do have full control. And that's just your work life. I'm not even talking about, oh, and then you can go on a vacation or work. Like Aaron and I are going to a wedding this
Wedding.
weekend, and I'm probably going to spend some time this weekend in the hotel room just knocking some stuff out for next week to hook my future self up. Like so much
Right.
freedom, a ton.
That's a smart way to say it, like thinking of it as hooking up your future self, where I think a lot of people just live in the now and I got to get this done so I can go to bed tonight or whatever it is. Like you really do have to think of it that way of what am I doing now that's going to benefit my future self to make my life that much easier. I'll do that sometimes, kind of that exercise like, well, all right, what do I need to do now so my future self can thank me in the future for doing those things? And it's yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Because I don't want to, because it's funny, because I think the next episode we're going to do is what sucks about being an entrepreneur, and sometimes that's the things that suck too, like having to do those things that is going to benefit you in the future, where you are, you still do have to work, this weekend or on the weekends or whatever. So I don't want to get too much into it, but a lot of it's there's a lot of overlap with what's great and then also what sucks. But just the freedom to be able to do that. Like I would say one of the greatest things is, especially once you've built out your company and it's doing really well, is being able to do those things now. The perfect example, I use this all the time. When I worked at the call center, my desktop background was the Bora Bora over the water bungalows, beautiful location. I remember just looking at that all the time. I was like, "That's, yeah, man, I'd love to go there someday." And if I would have stayed at that job, maybe I would have been able to go there when I was 60, 65 or whatever. I mean, we can get into like also just being capped on how much money you can make at a company as well. Where as an entrepreneur, you're uncapped. Again, it goes back to my first point, as hard as you work and as smart as you are about how you're doing that, it's really unlimited how much money that you can make. And so anyways, back to my point. And so I just remember looking at that, and then I had quit that job. I worked really hard, and within 5 years, I was able to take my wife and literally go to the place that I'd been looking at for 10 years, never think I was going to be able to go to, and was able to do it. So a lot of those things that you just wish could happen if you start your own business, you're smart about it, you work really, really hard, you don't give up, you can go to those places that you never thought that you would actually be able to go to, and at an age where you can still enjoy doing things. As opposed to I don't want to go to, Bora Bora when I mean, maybe I still will when I'm 65 or 70, or do like long hikes when I'm old or whatever it is. Like, you want to be able to do the stuff where you're still relatively younger, and the ability to do that just wouldn't really have happened if I would have stayed at my job. Like just the amount of travel. I mean, the other thing too that I like to say is it's nice having that freedom of, oh, I love going to concerts. So looking up different concerts and be like, all right, I'm going to this concert and going to do this, or I'm going to travel to go see this sporting event or doing this, and not having to worry about it always comes back to the money. The money always equals freedom with almost everything, especially as an entrepreneur. Um, but yeah, that's my main thing is a lot of people, you have those bucket list things that you want to go see or go do. And instead of that just being a kind of a pipe dream and probably never going to happen, starting a business really makes it a possibility where it just almost, I could almost guarantee it never would have happened if I would have stayed at my old job.
And
And
I
I know
imagine
because I
too,
have friends that still
still there.
work at that place who have never traveled. Like my wife and my family, we go to Hawaii once or twice a year. There's things that maybe it's a different conversation, that have become so normalized for my kids that they think it's weird. And this isn't trying to be a braggy thing, but like they think it's weird when they talk to their friends and they've never been to Hawaii or they've never been out of the country. They've never done this or this. And it's because it's all thanks to entrepreneurship and hard work. And now they have a life that I wish I would have had growing up.
Right.
But you want to know, it put me in a place where it drove me to build a business. So it all worked out.
Yeah. And I would also add that I don't think Aaron, and I know Aaron is not saying this, so I just want to make sure I say this out loud. He's not saying he doesn't want to go do these things in his 60s. He just wants to do both. He wants to do it now and he wants to do it later. And
Exactly.
I not to make this like into a morbid conversation, but I think of, it does, someone that I used to work with, he died this year. He would have been in like his late 40s ish, but I'll tell you what, since he was an entrepreneur, he lived. He went, traveled tons of places, went to tons of sporting events, did all of these things. So not to do the you never know thing, but you never know. So because he was an entrepreneur, he didn't get to 60, unfortunately, sadly,
Right.
but he still got to do all of these things. And I'm not saying people are going like, obviously most people are going to live into their 70s, et cetera, et cetera. But how sad to me it is like to never have been able to experience any of those things because you're getting capped. And then something that you said too, like with the children thing, a really big motivator for me. And I'd actually be curious if this ever motivated you. All of my silver spoon friends who like they've had successful careers, but I'm like, you've never had to actually work that hard in your entire life. Like we weren't poor growing up. Like
Right.
I think sometimes
We
I
weren't
can
like
get,
destitute. We
yeah,
make fun
like
of it,
I
but
can
yeah.
get like a little like, but I always say like we were definitely lower middle class, and I am fairly confident that our parents' combined income was in the $40,000 to $50,000 range most of my growing up, which was late 90s, early 2000s. I know $40,000 to $50,000 is definitely a lot less now, but that would put us in, I think I've done this before. It's like about $70,000 to $80,000 household income, 9 kids. Um, and seeing all of my friends who essentially didn't have to pay for college because their parents did it for them. Their parents were incredibly wealthy. Like I was like, I want to create that for my kids. I want them to like, not that I want life to be easy for them, but it's the not having to worry about money thing that I've constantly done my entire life is what I want them to be able to, so they can focus on things that they really love and enjoy doing, as opposed to
Yes.
essentially like I have to do something I hate because I need to make money. And so passing that on to the future generations, I don't even mean like money. I mean, passing on like the go do your own thing is actually going to set them up way more than all of my silver spoon friends who are working at jobs, not necessarily jobs that they hate. They're jobs where they make a ton of money. One of my friends just went to Bora Bora in his mid 30s. So like it's definitely possible to do when you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, but he will never have the potential earning power that I will have. Those hundreds of thousands of dollars that he's making when he was doing finance in New York, making $250,000 a year, he was always capped at a percentage of what he could take from whatever deals and or stock purchases like were made by him. So
Right.
that's like a real, and like, you know what else pisses me off? And hopefully if they listen to this, like, it also like pisses me off where I'm like, yeah, so like what could like $150,000 in investment do? Like, oh, well, you know, like at our company, we really only take like minimum like $1 million investments. I'm just like, oh, something that you can't do. Because
Right.
I'm always looking for like new opportunities to invest in. So that's why I
Sure.
got just shout out to Darren Tuttle real fast on this one. Like Darren Tuttle brought me in on this company. We didn't invest a ton of money in it, but because he's not a snob, was just like, hey, here's an opportunity where you can put in some money for something that I think is going to grow really, really well. So I just appreciate you, Darren. You don't have that mentality of like not wanting to help a friend, which is essentially like, are we friends or are we not friends? I don't know how I
Right.
got off on this subject, but a
Right.
huge motivator for me in entrepreneurship is like the FU that is inevitably going to come.
Yeah. Oh, that happens. Like, especially when you're starting your business. I mean, this is a probably completely different topic, but it's just like, just real quick, when I started my business, which is insane, like it was a cleaning company, everyone made fun of me, everybody, and no one wanted to do it. And I did it. It became successful. And the thing that one of the things, main things that, one, not the main thing, but one of the key moments is when the business was actually doing okay. It was probably about a year into the business, and I ran into one of my managers. We were helping one of our friends move, and he's just like, "Oh, you still doing that little cleaning business thing?" And at the time, I was like, "Dude, I was making like $250,000 a year," and I was just like, I didn't say anything. I was like, "Yep, still doing that little cleaning business thing." Absolutely, but he just said it in such a snarky way. And that's all. That's all. But so there'll be, it's those types of like "f you, dude," like look what I'm doing now, kind of a thing. Like you should, obviously that shouldn't be your main motivation, but it, it there will be motivation of proving the naysayers wrong. It's like the Michael Jordan thing is like, and I took offense to that, like to every
Yeah.
little thing, and that's what motivated him to keep getting better and better. And I think there's some validity in that. Again, you shouldn't become such a psycho where everything that somebody says to you, you take offense to, and then, or maybe that's how you become a billionaire. But yeah, I mean, it is nice. That's one of the other nice things about being an entrepreneur and becoming successful is a lot of the, like, F you, you thought it was, it was a dumb idea that it wouldn't be successful. It is. I never say this to any of these people because I'm just not like that. I'm like, dude, I'm doing way, way better than you are.
Yeah. Especially
And
from
that's,
a financial standpoint.
yes. Yeah. I mean,
And probably a
financially,
lot of other things as well. Like finance brings stability to a home, to a household, like probably a lot
yes.
of other things too.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. No, I completely agree. And so, yeah, that's just one of those things I didn't even think of. Like that is one of the other benefits is being able to tell people, hey, and not even tell them, just show them. That's the best thing is just showing people like, oh, I guess that little cleaning business did pay off. And then what are you up to now? What's going on? And then they all of a sudden are interested in what you have to say. I would say the other thing too that you were kind of talking about too, Alex, is the networking part of it. Like once you get to a certain amount of money and people, you're kind of around other people that have that kind of money, just business opportunities
More
start
opportunities.
popping up. Or as someone who is seen as a successful entrepreneur, you can start doing helping other people build their businesses. I mean, that was the whole genesis really of Unsexy Businessmen, was just to help people in general who don't know what they're doing. They have the motivation, they have the grit to do it, but just don't know how to do it correctly and save a lot of time and money by not making the same mistakes that we did when we were starting our businesses. But even so, like you'll just have someone might have like an awesome idea and you're like, yeah, I could see that being successful. And then like becoming part of that new business. And that's just like, again, just different revenue streams that you could be making that you would have never made. No one was going to come up to me when I was working at the call center like, hey buddy, I got this great business idea. It's going to cost $150,000. Can you front that? Like, yeah, there was
Right.
no way I would be able to do something like that. So just having that, all these different opportunities that come along, it's the old saying, it takes money to make money. And so when people know you have money, you get these business ideas. And then if it's something that you're interested in, I mean, I don't know, it's angel investing, essentially. And then you just get a bunch of those and you have all these different revenue streams that that just keep you secure. So if one of those turns off, you still have a ton of money coming in, and it doesn't affect you greatly.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever, this is a weird thing. Like, do you worry about money at all? Like, is there ever a time where you're like, man, I don't have enough money?
The only time I worry about money is when I'm trying to buy something like an investment that's super expensive. And it's like, for example, like one of my business partners, like we wanted to get into like the hotel space, but in order to get a hotel that I was going to be proud of was going to cost us, we were going to have to put in like $5 million. Um, and so I never like over leveraging myself. I just won't do that. He's a lot more risk
Tolerant,
what's risk averse, what's
risk tolerant.
risk tolerant.
Yeah.
And I'm not, so we ended up not doing that, and it actually was good thing for me, because if we would have been super risk tolerant, we were about to buy a hotel in 2019. I don't know if you remember what happened in 2020. That would have been horrendous. And the other thing too is like, yeah, we got the PPP loans, and that was helping all those businesses out. The PPP loans only applied to people who owned that business for, I think it was over 2 years. And so we wouldn't have been able to qualify for those to help us. So it ended up working out. So I guess that was like a long way about of answering your question. Like, not really. I don't really worry about money unless it's not even worry. It's more of just can I afford to do this? And is the risk great enough to do this? But like in my day-to-day life, I'm never like, again, it's nice to be able to like, oh, that thing's kind of cool, I'm just going to go buy it. Or, oh, that thing seems cool, I'm just going to go buy it. Now it's not like, oh, that, Patek watch is really cool, I'm just going to go buy a $75,000 watch. Like, I'm not, stupid with my money, but I don't have to think a lot about can I afford this? Yes or no. It's just I can do it. So yeah, that's just, I don't know. I try to be really, I've always been pretty conservative with my money anyway. So that was never an issue, but it's just nice to have that freedom of, I don't have to tell my wife, hey, you can only spend $200 at the grocery store.
Yeah.
It's, buy whatever the hell you want and whatever. She's
Yeah.
also not a super crazy spender either. So it works out great. I guess if you were married to some person who had to have every Louis Vuitton bag and every, whatever, could become an issue once you started making money, but neither of us are like that. So, we still like nice things, but we're still smart about our money. That's why I still have money.
Yeah. I've been trying to not care as much because like we have like ask this question a lot to people. I'm like, how much is enough? And for everyone, that's going to be different. Like that answer is going to be different. But like I essentially, in order to get out of my own way, that's like why I quit the teaching thing, because essentially it's like I don't actually need this money, and this
Right.
is taking away from my other
Lost
opportunities
opportunity. Yes.
that I could be building on. And like you said, as a teacher, you're capped. It's a government job, so the government cap obviously is going to control. Like we're spending taxpayer money here, so let's be
Right.
careful. But it's been a long time. I don't know. This probably isn't for this podcast, but like the one thing that I will also say about entrepreneurship is like you do stop worrying, but that doesn't mean if you like have like, I don't know what it is. I've just always had like this, we don't have enough mentality my entire life.
Mhm.
And I'm getting better at it through many therapy sessions of like, you don't have to worry about this. You don't have to worry about it. But I am coming to the realization like what essentially once like Keystone hit like a certain thing, I was like, none of my clients are going anywhere that I have right now. We're making a decent amount in like total revenue with very low overhead.
Right.
You're gonna be fine, sweetheart.
I think that the unsexy answer to your question is it's probably never going to be enough. And it's not even like a
Yeah.
money thing, really. It's really just like, we like building businesses. Like I could be making $20 million a month and I would still try and find
something else.
opportunities for new businesses to build. Like I enjoy that process of taking something, whether it's from nothing or something that's struggling, and help it help it grow. And so, I mean, you see that all the time too. Is like, why do these billionaires? Why do they got to keep working and doing this? And I said the same thing when I worked in that call center because the guy who owned it was the richest person in Idaho. And so I was like, why does he even come to the office? He's like 60. Why, like, dude, if I had $1 billion, I would stay at home and I'd just go travel the world. And this is what I tell people all the time too, is like, um, you'll eventually get bored of doing those things. Like if like you have $1 billion, let's just say right now, at some point you've gone to all these places, you've done all these things. Like then what? Like is then your life just I'm going to be at home and not do anything? Like I just want to watch TV all day. You're going to get bored of that. And so you have to find some sort of hobby that's going to keep you kind of motivated, or you're probably going to die. So, I mean, that's what my motivation is. My motivation is I've just always enjoyed entrepreneurship. So I don't even know if it's even though really there's a money thing. Like, yeah, you get to a point where like you're not worried about money or thinking about it. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't think there was like, if I had this much money, I would stop doing what I'm doing because I had, when I sold my business, I had more money than I ever thought I was going to have. And I still wanted to keep building businesses. You know, I could have retired and just like lived off off of some investments and lived a modest life that would have been more money than I was making when I was at that call center for the rest of my life and not have to do anything. But that would have gotten really boring really, really fast. And you see that all the time, right? With like people that retire when they're 65, they get, again, I'm always about statistics that I don't know off the top of my head that I'm just going to make up. But I mean, it's just like the people that retire end up dying soon if they don't have some sort of hobby that they like or something that keeps them going. That's why I see all the old people that go golfing all the time. It's something that they can keep doing. And I'm sure there's stuff that they do besides that, but yeah, you have to find whatever that is. And for us, at least, it's just building businesses.
Yeah.
So it works
Creating.
out
And
great.
then like, I'm sure there's like a little bit of, and there's no way of quantifying this, but like the self-satisfaction that comes from it. Like
Yeah.
you can't just be like, all right, so what's the amount of self-satisfaction you have on a scale of 1 to 10? You're like, I guess a 10. Like, I don't know
You're
how to
like,
like put that number on there,
good.
but I know that
Yeah.
there is some, I know that there, not even some, like a lot when things are like going well, like, and just like even with Unsexy Businessmen, like just getting like a couple of those sales that are like coming in, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Like what we're doing is helping someone. So
Yes.
let's just keep going.
Let's keep going.
Like, and like, so even like that one yesterday, not to like get, like we had like a $17 sale that comes through, like that is still exciting, even though we're invoicing tens of thousands of dollars to other clients and other things that we're doing. Like,
Right.
I think I bet you we probably got more joy out of that $17 than, I don't know, since my first major, probably since like July of 2023, August of 2023, like that. So just so this is more of me saying like to all of you, like that probably doesn't make any sense to anyone except for entrepreneurs. We're like, man, that $17,000 is way cooler than September's invoices of $60,000-$70,000. Like, I don't know how to explain why I enjoyed that more, but I did.
Oh no, dude! Like one of the most joyous times in my life was the first check I got with my cleaning business. It was for $495, and it blew my mind because I think it was almost like it's like I did this, someone appreciated it, and I got paid for it. Like all this hard work is starting to pay off, and then it's also like, oh my god, if I can get $495 from this guy. And then you start playing that numbers game. Like, oh, I just got to do this, and I can start making way more money. And so, yeah, I'll never forget that. And yeah, we were getting checks. I mean, it was in the six figures. We're getting monthly towards the end of before I sold the business, and that just became whatever. Like, okay, that's just what it is. I mean, it's great. I'm not mad about it, but that $495 check, I will never forget. I think I took a picture of it. I can't remember where it's at because I was so excited that I got that check. I mean, that's why I see that. Like you'll go into all these different restaurants or stores, or whatever, they'll have the first dollar framed because it's a big deal. Like your first sale is always a big deal. Like, all right, I must be doing something right. Somebody bought this. Yeah, it's funny that you said that. That totally It's totally true at all those different levels.
And then thinking of like bonuses that I've got too, like there was a multiple times where I got 15 or $20,000 like in that range bonuses at like the place that I worked. And this is probably just like human nature. Like the first time I got it, I was just like, oh baby. And then like you just
Hmm.
keep getting it. And like, so this familiarity of getting the same thing over and over and over again, going back to like what you were talking about, like if you have $1 billion and you go and travel everywhere, like eventually things get boring. So I think that's probably to me the best part of entrepreneurship. Yeah, you have the freedom. Yeah, you have the money, but it's the ability to be able to keep creating these new things over and over and over again. And it's almost like, what is that? It's almost like doing something for like the first time. It's like taking your first steps over and over and over again. Like,
Yeah.
it wouldn't be a podcast if I don't reference heroin, a drug I've never done before. But like, it's
Yes.
almost like you once you do it one time, you're chasing the dragon for forever with that venture. And then when you do a new
Yeah.
venture, it's like you get that first hit and you're just like, so yeah, there probably is some chemical stuff that's like going on inside of you, but I think that is the best part of entrepreneurship. Like, here's the new thing, here's the new thing, here's the new thing, here's the new thing.
And it's funny because like so when I first got into commercial real estate, like we bought this piece of land, and I mean, I don't remember how much the land was, like 150, $200,000, something like whatever. And that was super exciting to me that we could buy that in cash, was more exciting than the 7-figure check we got after we were done developing that. Like, I was like, it was cool that we got it, but I don't know what it is. It's just like kind of what you just said. There was something about, oh my gosh, we did it. We got this land and we developed it. And like, it doesn't make sense. I should have been more excited that we were able to sell it and make, tens of times more money from the development thing. But there was just something about that first, we did it, we got our land. And this is going more into like the commercial or the real estate side of thing or whatever, but it's the same principle of your first sale or your first acquisition is just it's such an exciting time, because then like, what's going to happen now? What can we do? And then you get again all these different opportunities of what you can do with that money. Is just super exciting. Yeah, it
That's
really
probably
is.
why, like with you too, that's probably why you like looking at other things. Like I'm thinking of like the cleaning thing that we're working on right now. It's like, oh, this is like a
Mhm.
brand new thing that we've never done before. Like
Yes.
I've one, never done a product. Two, like never done this specific type of product, obviously, because we've never done a product before. So
Yes. Yeah, and yeah, dude, that's so true. That's probably one of the other things. Like you get to learn new skill sets that you never would have learned. I never would have learned any of these skill sets if I was in the call center, even if I mean, I actually got up into more of the corporate side of that company. But I would have never learned any of this. I would have never learned anything about real estate and about all this other stuff, or yeah, developing a new product. I would, all of the things that go in with that. It just keeps your mind active, and there's just something about keeping your mind active that makes life exciting.
yeah.
And so you become a really good problem solver. Is one of the other benefits of being an entrepreneur. Is it's never, oh, I can't figure this out, I'm done, I'm gonna quit on this. It's like, well, that was my biggest thing, with when I had Honestly Clean and a client asked us if we could do something, even if it was a service we didn't offer, I'd be like, yep, we'll figure it out. Like, that's all whatever was, like, yep, we'll just figure it out, whatever. And we would always just figure it out. And yeah, I totally agree.
And so if I was gonna like wrap this up in a nice little bow, I would say that's probably the most important quality like to have in entrepreneurship, to be able to then go and enjoy all of these things. And I think that's something that Aaron and I both appreciate about like one another. And the reason I know that is we've talked about it this week, where it's just like it's never like passing the buck. So going back to like the very first thing I said, like you are responsible and accountable for everything. So if you can't, like, I love that. Like that's something I absolutely enjoy. And so like when there are like these things, like I'm not a chemist, I don't know how to develop a product. Um, like it's really, really frustrating because it's just like this would take me years and years and probably lots and lots of licenses to be able to like figure out how to do this on my own. So depending on other people does suck. But as much as within my power, I will figure out whatever things I can. Like, oh, how do I connect this thing to this thing? How do I connect this thing to this thing? And I've just seen it way too often where people just depend on somebody else. And you can tell really, really quickly that they just need to work for somebody. Like they need someone to tell them what to
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
So don't be that person.
But a counterpoint to that too, though, is also realizing where your weaknesses are, and you can obviously
Fair.
strengthen those weaknesses. But if there is a skill set that you're not good at, like I'm never going to be like, don't worry, Alex, I'll handle the SEO on this project. Like
Right.
there's just no way I would ever do that. It's not bad to get help again, and that's the whole point of the Unsexy Businessmen, anyways, right? Is like, hey, some simple task is starting your LLC. Like, how do I register my LLC? I don't know. Like, yeah, you can go look it up. Maybe you're going to make mistakes doing it, or you could, go check out our website. I think we have literally all the answers to all of these problems, and it's more of like the easy things to do, but can seem complicated, and you could waste a lot of time trying to figure it out, or you could go and learn from people that have already done it, and then you can get good at it, and then you can become the expert in that field as well. But it is good to be able to learn from some people, but don't think that you're just going to rely, kind of to Alex's point, is like, oh, I don't know how to do an LLC, I'm just going to pay somebody $1,000 to set that up for me. Like, no, like, find out how to do it, learn from somebody who's done it dozens of times, and then eventually you're probably going to start more than one LLC, but now you know how to do it. You don't have to spend that money doing that, or just, I don't know how to make a logo, I'll pay somebody $1,500, $2,000 to make my logo. Like, no, learn from somebody who can show you how to do it. And again, I know this is like a shameless pitch for our business, but that's literally why we set this up. So at a very reasonable price, you can learn all of these things, and you're not spending tens of thousands of dollars on somebody else to do them, when you can just learn and do it yourself.
Yeah. And Aaron's probably one of the few people in the world who's signed up for every United States LLC, so every state's LLC procedure. So those are some of our more popular, and not
I
just
did.
popular, like we get more gratitude on those videos than anything else that we do. So one, the most comments we get are there, and then two, the most gratitude are from the, oh my gosh, like I'll just watch this 10-minute video step by step with Aaron, and I just saved $1,000 plus filing fees by doing that. So yeah, go check out those videos, and we thank you all for listening. We'll chat with you all again next week. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and go check out unsexybusinessmen.com. Our YouTube and our website have a wealth of knowledge, all very, very inexpensive, oftentimes free. So go check it out. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you for listening to the Unsexy Businessmen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. Now go get to work.